So you will see here the making of the canvas that you have just seen. I walked outside this morning in my neighborhood and I saw all these beautiful things on the ground that has fallen from the trees. At the farthest point of my walk, there is this really old tree, and the branches reach the ground almost, and it is just full of hair and life, even though it is very old tree. So that was my inspiration, and I collected all these elements which I will incorporate into my canvas, and you can see the progress of it here. I hope you enjoy it. Here I am getting the board ready. It is a regular cardboard, and I'm removing some of the outer part to reveal the corrugated element of the cardboard, and that will give me texture to the base of my work. basic decisions on composition and trying to decide where the bigger elements will go. I'm trying to align it in an interesting way. This is just to get a general idea of where things might go. Here I'm going to put a little bit of gesso under the areas where I know that it's going to be underneath the boards, and I will not be able to reach them with a brush later, so I am doing it now. Applying gesso over the owl that I applied on the board. Although the resin I used is black color resin, I still cover it with gesso so that the next layer that I will use will stick better to the mold. Here I am continuing to apply leftover pieces that I had by using cream paste over the flat A5 molds. This is just to add texture underneath the main elements that I'll be using later. I did not use anything in particular for this project. I just had a bunch left over on the side that's what I'm using. Go ahead and use some texture sand medium to the edges of the mold that I used. This is going to create the gradual transfer from the mold into the canvas underneath, so you don't really actually see where it starts, where it ends. And it also adds a very rough sand-like texture, which I like. I'm doing the same here on the canvas underneath. You don't really see my hand, and I apologize. I put the camera as high as I possibly could, but this is a large canvas. But I'm basically doing the same thing down there that I've done on the part of the canvas on top. And now I'm using the modeling paste to do basically the same thing as I've done with the sand paste. Just going around where the cream paste sheet, the flexible sheet that I applied, meets the canvas. And that again is just to eliminate the difference where the canvas meets the mold. So there is a very smooth transference from one to the other. To the areas where the canvas meets the board, because I don't want any holes to show over there. So it's just going to seal those areas as well. And now that I dried the modeling paste and the sand paste to the best of my ability, it is still some areas that are a little damp, but for the most part it is dry. I'm going to go ahead and put the black gesso over all of those textured areas and just try to cover everything with the black gesso well. Also going over all of the molds, the rest of the mold with the black gesso. is time for the stencil. This is the Once Upon a Time stencil, and I will be using it with the gold crackle paste. Going to apply the crackle paste with the use of the stencil all around the area where I have the raised texture. The crackle paste adds an additional texture. Everything that you will see in the gold right now is raised over the canvas, and when the crackle dries, it'll have little cracks in it. When I will apply later the vintage paste over it, it will cover and it will blend it all together with the canvas. It'll just look very vintage. I am taking the crackle paste now with my palette knife, and I'm covering some other areas just so that it's not gonna look like I have secluded areas with the pattern. So adding more crackle paste around, it kind of ties it all together. I'm drying the crackle paste now, and I'm applying the major heat because I want it to dry fast, and when it is very thickly applied with the heat, you will start seeing the cracks in it. it is time to put together all of the pieces that I've made and all other boards in the composition that I've chosen to create at the beginning. I'm using my glue gun in order to keep the pieces in place. I used the extra hard glue, extra tough glue will keep it there, but the glue gun will make sure that it doesn't move in the beginning. And then later at the end, when I have all of my pieces together, I'm going to add resin, and that will really keep everything in place. Now going to use the green Allegro paint KAL29 in the center of my work, and it will give another color dimension to the canvas. Now I am adding the metallic gold Allegro paint, and I'm using it without any water, just with a dry brush. In some areas I'm just lightly brushing it over so that the black underneath will remain, and the brush will paint just the topical areas. Time to start applying the main focus of this work, which is the greenery. I am just trying to see where I want to place the items and get the composition of the top layer of my work. I am using the mixed media glue for the bark because it is flat. It's a little bit wet still, it's soft, it's not hard, and I think it will be the best choice to make sure that the bark stays on the canvas. was having a little bit of a hard time making sure that the mixed media glue keeps the bark in place, and it wasn't really staying. So I'm using the aid of the glue gun again, just to keep it in place for now. Once the mixed media glue will dry, it will keep that together, but temporarily the glue gun is a good way to keep elements in place while the real glue that is strong will dry. And now I'm just placing the elements around anywhere that I see fit. I'm just having fun with building the composition and making it come to life. And you can even see I got some paint in my hair. It happens to artists. C'est la vie. It'll come off later. And now I'm going to be placing the branches. I'm choosing to put it underneath the owl so it will look as if the owl sits on the branch. And I'm using the glue gun again for now. Obviously it's not gonna hold forever, and I'm going to put the clear resin in there, and that will, when it dries, will make sure that it stays in place. really apologize for my head keep coming in and covering what I'm doing, but I was doing this standing up and I had to see what I was doing, and part of it was covering the camera view. So I apologize for that. And now I'm going to be using Cerantica. It's the wax. I'm going to be using the copper color first, and then I will be using gold to go over the other areas and really highlight the gold in my work, and that will pull everything together. I'm going to be mixing some of the crystal resin now, and that will be on the side, just waiting a few minutes and curing so that it's not going to be too runny when I apply it to the canvas. And this is my favorite part, is when I am going to apply vintage paste. And I will put the vintage paste around where the crackle design is, around the borders of the canvas, and touch up here and there in some areas where I want to darken it maybe a little bit, give it more of the vintage tint, and pull the colors together. I just decided I didn't like that red leaf over there. It just didn't fit with the whole theme, so I removed it. Okay, and now I will put the resin. It's the crystal clear resin. I will put it around areas where the components are attached to each other, down to the canvas, and that will act as a very permanent bond so that those pieces will not go anywhere. And also I'm applying it in other areas to show as if it will appear as if they're raindrops or dew, which is what I experienced this morning when I got inspired. Everything was still wet from the night dew, and that is what I wanted to achieve by using crystal clear resin. Okay, and this is the finished piece, all done. I hope you enjoyed it and got inspired. I really enjoy being on the Lady Vagabond design team for Stamperia. They make wonderful products, very fun to work with, and the list of all the materials that I used can be found in the description below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me a message and ask. And I would really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel, hit the like, and support me in any way you can. You can find me on Facebook and on my website, creative-treasures.com. Thank you and goodbye.